Good afternoon. My name is Grace. I'm from the fourth industrial revolution, and I have a very easy task this afternoon. Okay, so the previous speaker has spoken a little bit about the 4IR, but last year the president appointed a task force to look at just do a country assessment in terms of, as a country in Namibia, are we ready for 4IR or not? And so I form part of that committee, and together with my colleague Nashilongo. So those are the different various revolutions. I don't want to get into that. Like my previous speaker has spoken, is that in fact we're actually about to leave the fourth industrial revolution, getting into the fifth industrial revolution. In fact, some countries are already busy with the fifth industrial revolution. So what is our mandate as a task force? Our mandate as a task force, as appointed by the president, was just to do a country assessment. As a country, are we ready to leverage the benefit that one can get from 4IR? And so what happened is that we were tasked with doing that, and we presented our first initial report last year in November, and then our next report is due in June this year. And then we'll also convene 4IR conference later in June, or on the 8th of June. So the task force is divided among work streams. We got thematic chapters from the president that he wanted us to work on. And those thematic chapters are, for example, looking at the core 4IR technology, looking at the legal framework, looking at research and development, skills, MSME, and all of that. So it's in total six work streams that are just looking at various thematic chapters. Yes. So those are the members of the task force. It's being headed by our chairperson, Prof. Anisha Peters, and like I said, Nashilongo Khrebashi, she's also serving on the task force. And then we have some foreign nationals that are also serving on the task force based on their expertise. And then we have a presidential advisor that is overseeing the task force. So that is Grace there. I'm a trained economist, so my background is economics. I work for Bank of Namibia, but I'm heading the work stream on the legal legislation and governance. That's what I'm heading on the task force. So we also have some ministries that are supporting the task force, and we also have some research volunteers from various institutions like the University of Johannesburg and so forth. So what are we doing? What is the methodology? Methodology, we are looking at design thinking, data collection, and it's a little bit difficult for me, benchmarking and the likes. So what have we done this far as a task force? We have had various stakeholder engagements. We have a total of approximately 47 stakeholder engagements. We have met 120 public and private enterprises, met 13 ministries, and had high-level engagement and so forth. So what has come out is major challenges and pain points. And first and foremost, and that is why I was actually invited here, or the task force was invited, is Namibia does not have a national digital strategy. And that is definitely the starting point. And then there's a lot of fragmentation in terms of data. In fact, data sharing is a problem across even ministries or across institutions and all of that. And then skills is definitely a very big problem. And then we also need a legal framework, or the legal fraternity is not ready. We have realized that many of the Namibian laws are either obsolete or very old, so they have not been able to keep up with emerging technologies. So that came out as a very important or a challenge. And then funding and investment, of course, and then also aging ICT infrastructure in government particularly is a problem. But I saw that cash outs. For example, when we were meeting the creative industry, they were telling us that because much of their work is done on Google, on YouTube, so they get paid but internationally, so but they are unable to get that money out. So what we did is we tried to went out, met the Bank of Namibia, met Payments Association of Namibia, and tried to look for how can that be addressed. So that definitely came out as a pain point. And then definitely electrification is a problem, particularly in the rural areas, definitely. And if you want to harness 4IR, you need to address electrification. And then research and development, definitely. Particularly, we have realized that most of the institutions, their R&D departments are either hosted in South Africa, but never in Namibia. So that definitely also came out as a challenge or a pain point. So my task today was, is there an AI strategy? No, Namibia does not have an AI strategy. And there's not even an African country that has an AI strategy. So even a national digital strategy we don't have. But there is work that is being done around that. For example, as a task force, we found that there was a concept note that was lying around that was already approved by cabinet, just to be implemented. But that is just the national digital strategy for the ICT sector. So what we are suggesting, or what we are recommending as a task force, is that we need an aggregate or holistic digital strategy that we can run with as a country. And that is not yet there, but definitely there is some work happening in that. So in terms of a national digital strategy for ICT, we found, or we got some funds from GIZ, and there is work that is happening in the background. And before the end of the task force mandate in June, end of June, we should be able to deliver on that. Leading thoughts. Definitely, like I said, to develop, we need, as a country, we need a national digital strategy, and it needs to be an aggregate digital strategy, because we have also discovered that most of the sectors that we have met, they do have strategy, but it's sectoral. So we need something that is aggregate, to look at it from a holistic point of view. And then localized R&D is very important. Improve international payment transaction and payment gates, and then definitely establish a national AI institute is very much on the agenda, or as a task force we are working on that. So what is it that you need to expect from the task force? Okay, in June we are convening Namibia 4IR conference. It's going to be a policy platform. It's going to be convened by the president and chaired by the president as well, where we're going to the task force, where we're going to present a country readiness assessment. That was the mandate of the task force, to say, as a country, where do we stand, and are we ready for 4IR or not? So we're doing that in the background now. And then we're also going to discuss our findings and our policy recommendations at that conference. And then secondly, we're also busy working on a legislative checklist, where we're going to come up with a toolkit to say a law should have this and that to be 4IR enabling, or to be able to keep up with emerging technologies. Otherwise, we're going to have laws that are not keeping up with technology. And that is what we want as a country. You want to ensure that the legal framework keeps up with all the technology that we want to implement or to keep up with. And we have discovered that has not been the case. And then definitely we're going to deliver on national digital strategy. So with that said, that has been my presentation, and I hope I've answered everything that I was asked to do. I know I was also asked to speak about the 5G, the national 5G position, and we just thought as a task force that is not our mandate. Probably MICT or maybe CREM would be in a better position to respond on that, but not the task force.